and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the you make me laugh part. You think so? Not today. Something has gone terribly wrong in the Matrix. Terribly wrong. 3 little words. 3 little letters. 3 little words. I don't even want to start it with 3 little words. 3 little words, I'll kill you. Kill you. I won't. But go through the 3 little words. And I won't. Oh, welcome, Earthlings and people from other nearby planets. If you happen to be tuning in, it is Wednesday. You hear that wheeze in the voice? Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. I'm going to say it like Rain Man again. 2024. Wapner at 2024. Anyway, I hope the year is off to a good start for you. It looks nice over there. It doesn't look so nice over here. It looks dark. Jackie, the joke man, Martling, will be joining us around 9:30. And who knows what he's got up his sleeve. But what I want to talk to him about is he's the only person I know who ever met Jeffrey Epstein. Now, spent the whole day in anticipation of flight logs being released. I don't think they ever were. If they were, I can't find them. If you know where they are, point me to them. But it's just a tease. And as I said in the morning, and you hear the voice, I'll talk about that in a second. As I said in the morning yesterday, I would not be shocked if they did. It was just a psych out and they don't have any plans on releasing it. And even if they do, what can they do about it? But you see that Aaron Rodgers has accused Jimmy Kimmel and Tom Hanks of being on that list, and they're not happy about it. And why should they be happy about it? They shouldn't be happy about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some lawsuits coming for some people. You can't just accuse people of being. We can, but you're gonna have to be responsible for it at some. So if anybody who's making public statements about who they know is on that list for a fact and it's not true, they are liable. I think I got a touch of the FLU, or it might be COVID, but I think it's a flu, and I think it happened because I went out New Year's Eve. I'm not allowed to be near people. This is the problem. I should never be around people. I think some of the people in that room the other night infected me with a hideous pathogen that is looking to take my life. And I'm going to have to put up the good fight now and be a warrior. But all that complaining, I'm still here. I still come on and try as I might to put a show on for you folks, because that's how much you mean to me. And if you buy that, well, let's go to Misinfo Wars. Let's see, can we do this? Misinfo Wars? No, probably not, right? No, I can't do that. Why can't I do that? I'm in the wrong thing. Is that the problem? I don't know what the problem is now. I'm technically devoid of any expertise in the switching and running the switcher part of the show. Anyway, why not just rush into things, boldly go where no man has ever gone, except for people who have gone or something, and say hello to the gentleman, GD and Willie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Welcome to Misinfo Wars. Go ahead. You got a coffee thing you want to say about Misinfo? What do you got?
Good morning. Mind Dog Coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do,
I drink the coffee that 9 out of 10 doctors have no idea what I'm talking about. Mine dog coffee.
Yeah, a 9 out of 10 doctors get the shit over, and the frog penis, and the frog penis and the coke penis all become one penis, and then take over the world, because it's the lizard people, and the lizard people are like frogs, and welcome to Misinfo Wars. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to stop talking like that because my voice is naturally like that today. One of you guys gave me the flu. Did you mail me the flu? Is that what happened?
That's why that is why Willie was asking for our addresses.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sending me the influenza. Well, this is
kind of hypnotic himself.
I think I have to change this background. This is a little too hypnotic for me here.
Willie actually
I liked it right away. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a cool one," but no.
It's like you took mushrooms, except you didn't take mushrooms.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
No. But where's my misinfo? I thought I had. Oh, because I'm too high up. Is that?
That's it. You're too high.
I'm too high.
I've had that problem.
Yeah. Did you guys hear anything about these flight logs or anything?
Yes.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
What'd you hear?
I turns out that my name was on the list, so I had it squashed. I got rid of it.
Oh,
didn't have it out there.
But people were saying all day they were like actually putting out videos of naming people, like they were reading from the list, and I'm like, this it's not an official list. This is just again people just reading names of people they don't like. And one guy had every Democratic actor. No, a Democratic actor. Like it's people who you know are very left leaning and have big mouths. Every single one of them just happened to be on that list. More than 170, by the way. He was just going on. Like every leftist activist. I think people from the 60s were on that list before Jeffrey Epstein even had it. But who knows? Maybe it'll come out today. I just can't sit around and wait. I got to get back on with my life. I got a cockfight to get to.
What?
We
have cockfight. You don't mean roosters, do you?
No, I don't.
It's long. It is Long Island.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's right.
What was it? I made a meme about your slong on like being the most beautiful slong on Long Island once. Didn't I do that? I'm pretty sure I did.
I don't know. I maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got that info.
Well, it's pretty much
word of mouth. Word of mouth, GD.
I want to know what mouths. I want to know what mouths. Is this another list like Epstein's? What mouths have been down there to be repeating this?
Well, the list is long but distinguished.
Wow. This is all leading up to going to be a great introduction of our new sponsor in a few minutes. And I want to
like perusing that website. I obviously have not looked at sex toys in a while. Fucking Jesus.
Oh, it's sex toys? I wasn't aware of that. I thought it was something about dogs. It says dog in the name. I just assumed it was a dog.
No. Did you not check out this site? Yeah, no, it's wow. And I mean, bro, they got some extravagant fucking shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
wow, extravagant.
I am not putting my search history through that stuff.
No. I got a surprise that comes. I don't know if a surprise that comes. I don't know if Kelly's in the. Oh yeah, she is. Mike Chavola was there early, and he said, wasn't ready for that website because I put the link in the comments. Wasn't ready for that website this early in the morning. Do they have a full line of butt plugs for Will? I don't. Bill's not. Will. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you Bill. Don't get hurt. He's not into butt plugs. He's into just plugging butts with his tongue, which is a whole different.
I mean, I don't know. I've never tried one. I'd give one a try. Probably.
Let me just say that's the first time in like 2 months that analingus has been referred to on this program, which is probably we need a sign like we've gone 0 days at work without analingus.
Oh yeah, about not talking about ass eating. Oh my god, that would be a good sign for you to have in the background.
But I just broke the streak, so
I just started 0 again.
Right.
You know what, dude? That's a good sign to make. I might have to. I got a lot of space back here.
Are you guys familiar with Aola. I think that's how you pronounce her name, Aola.
I think you're trying to say areola. What are you trying to
Is
say?
it
I
Eric?
like
No, I think
both.
it's Aola. That's a Twitter handle anyway. I could be wrong about that.
I thought that was a body part.
Aeola. She's she calls herself a what she do? She takes polls. She asks questions of people on Twitter. Some go viral. They're all sexually related. She's a former sex worker. According to her, she's done some porn, but I think probably what she means by porn is just her boyfriend taping himself
private
jerking
stuff.
off on her face or something.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a professional porn star, but she was a hooker. Anyway, why I thought of this, because she mentioned the other day that she was in a store and somebody came up and said, "Do you mind if I ask you a personal question? I don't want to embarrass you." And she said, "I've gone viral for talking about how I like to eat poo, and don't shower frequently. What could embarrass me?" And I was like, that doesn't sound like
And
a
the
hooker.
question was, does that smell you?
I don't think that would embarrass her. She talks about eating
That's
poo.
pretty good, though, GD.
And why not
Yeah,
say shit? Why not say shit? If you're going to go that far and talk about how you like to eat shit, why call it poo?
I think it's a molecular.
Because she's probably trying to desensitize herself to it by using a euphemism.
And the other part of it, who would want to be with a sex worker who doesn't shower
That eats
frequently?
poop?
Huh?
I mean, yeah, no, that's a problem.
Yeah,
Well, I'm thinking the difference between poo and shit is like the difference between ketchup and catsup.
we're back to that.
I mean, kind of, yeah. It's still a softer word. It's definitely a way softer word. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's any way to soften it when you're talking about eating shit.
You can soften
At least
it.
for a
It's
guy
called
like
stool
me.
softener.
So,
yeah.
For a guy like me who is just repulsed by the idea of it, I don't have a good relationship with shit. My whole life, it was just like, to me, it's proof of bad design. The human and the animals in general were designed poorly. There has to be a better way.
First of all, I thought Tigger was the one eating poo, but I was wrong. So,
have you guys seen the Winnie the Pooh? That's like Pooh is like a murderous fucking.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I know it exists.
What's this?
Holy fuck!
What's this? Winnie the
Yeah,
Pooh?
there's like a badass Winnie the Pooh that came out like maybe a year or two ago.
And they're making one with Steamboat Willie because
I'm Winnie the Flu.
They're making one with Steamboat Willie also because now Steamboat Willie is public domain.
It's
called Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. It came out in 2023.
So, are either of those people on Epstein Island's log list, Winnie the Pooh or Steamboat Willie? Now, Steamboat Willie was Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, but he didn't become Mickey Mouse till a little bit later, unless he was Mickey Mouse playing the character of Steamboat Willie.
Yeah. Did you guys see the plane?
The plane.
In Japan.
Yes,
a plane landed.
Oh yeah, two planes
blew up.
Yeah,
and they got everybody off the plane safely. It was
off of that
flyer.
Yeah, the other plane not so much.
Yeah, but you talk about poo.
The other plane was a parcel plane, though, I think.
Right, but now the plane that burnt up was, a lot of people pooing all over the place.
Yeah, they were there to help. They were there to help with the earthquake.
If that happened in America, people would be just so, I don't know, freaking out. We'd have a plane full of Karens thinking they need to get off first. There's no way you could organize that and get people off and cooperate and all that. But Japan, they have a level of politeness or whatever that, if the authorities say, wait your turn, even though the fucking plane is on fire, they're going to wait their turn.
It's funny you bring that up because I did an open mic last night and there was a comic that had that exact take on it, that here in America it would not go that way. Like everybody would not be saved because everybody would be a problem.
Screaming, right? Yeah. We have lots of Karens. Mikey said I did not know this happened on the New Year's Eve gig because I mentioned how everybody got old. There was a guy who walked in front of me because I mentioned how crowded it was, the dance floor and all that stuff. And there was no way to get through. This guy was like trying to cut through. He was old. And for me to say he was older than Jackie by a lot. He peed himself as he was walking in front of me. I didn't even see it, but Mikey saw he watched it take a drizzle right past the band going down the leg.
What song was he y'all playing? Was it the music that caused it?
You know what? I think it was I Fought the Authority and Authority Always Wins. I think that's when it was, but I'm not positive about that. But this is what we have to look forward to, which is I'd like to impress on you two is take care of your prostate, take care of your willy, and you know, when I talk about getting old, be thankful for every day because at least you're not pissing yourself in public.
You know, I'm thinking y'all should immediately switch to Islands in a Stream or something with a
that would have been great.
We don't ever play that.
You don't play Islands in the Stream?
No, that's
wow.
Because we don't have a Dolly Parton.
Y'all don't have any balloons?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, we might have a Dolly Parton coming up soon.
Can't Mikey wear falsies and a wig?
He could. Shavola would not love him anymore. Shavola would abandon him. His best friend would have been. Well, I don't know his best friend. They're good friends, and Shavola would abandon him. Anyway, who's out there eating poo? Evil says. Well, I think her name is Aola. Look her up on Twitter. Let me see if I can look her up really quick. I think it's Aola. And she was talking about how old men don't kiss the same as young men. I was like, well, maybe they smell the shit.
What does that mean?
She's referring to the technique that we use. It's true. We don't.
I mean, I feel like I've kissed the same my whole life. I don't think that's going to change as I get older.
No. What she doesn't mean like as you get older you change. She means like those of us who are older, we had a different technique.
I don't think that's what she means because she even said, no, I don't think so. Because she said, what happens as you get older? Does your mouth dry out? And I'm just thinking, no, maybe they just have a keener sense of smell and can smell that you just ate a poo sandwich.
I mean, that could be.
I wouldn't.
I know that I get worried about my teeth slipping if my teeth aren't glued in good enough. I get worried about that sometimes.
Yeah,
because that's a weird thing to have happen. Like you'll be kissing a girl and all of a sudden your teeth move. That's not supposed to happen.
Or they come out and she swallows them.
Yeah,
then you gotta wait. Then you can't leave. He said, "No, I'm spending the night. I'm gonna wait till the morning."
Wow. I saw somebody getting in a fight, like face to face, yelling at a guy, and was really close up and yelling, and his teeth flew out and hit the other guy in the face, and that got the other guy to back down because he was so fucking grossed out by the guy's teeth coming out and hitting him right in the face. That's a great way to get out of fights.
Matter of fact, if I start arguing with somebody and somebody starts talking sideways, I just take my teeth out and put them in my pocket so that they know I'm ready.
Well, let's be very clear. You're not allowed to argue with anybody. You're not allowed to get in any fights. You're not allowed to do.
I know that. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know. But
yeah, it's fun. I used to play in a 30 and over basketball league back when I was over 30. Not like now. Right. And and I was guarding this one guy. He comes up with his dribble and he does this little head fake. And I was known for my defense. I was a notorious I was really, really good defender. And I'm guarding him and he does his head fake. And when he does it, his toupee flies up like this and comes back down. And I'm caught staring. He dribbles right by me and does a layup.
That's a tactic.
So you were known as G Defenderson?
Defender.
G Defenderson.
Yeah, I have a T-shirt that's
I can't find this woman. Maybe I did spell it wrong. It's very frustrating. I wanted to read whatever the hell she said, but maybe I tried to get her. I before I knew she ate poo. I asked her to come on, but she didn't respond to me anyway. But maybe I would let her come on, and you guys could talk to her while I throw up the whole time.
we could just discuss culinary techniques and stuff.
Culinary. That's how you cook ass food or something.
Yeah, it's culinary techniques. Yeah, that's
culinary.
I bet you instead of booping, she just like, I remember I saw a video one time of these two chicks and a champagne bottle, and it's like one of the big like New Year's champagne bottles, and this girl like dumped the whole thing in the other girl's ass, and then pulled the bottle out and it started shooting like a geyser. And then when it started just flowing like a river, the other girl started drinking from the other girl's ass, just like lapping it up like a dog. It was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen.
No, why?
Really worse than the ketchup that I saw?
I mean, it was pretty bad.
Why do you have to go back to that? It took me all weekend to get that fucking image out of my head.
Oh, but he can talk about champagne and it doesn't bother you.
No, well, it absolutely did bother me, and I was gonna like, why? What is the purpose? Does it feel good? It can't feel good.
What if somebody gets high?
I mean, I would imagine it probably does feel good. Like a champagne enema probably does excite the nether regions a little bit. You gotta think it does.
I would think it would burn. But
I mean, maybe it could burn. I know that I don't like girls using Pop Rocks during blowjobs.
Yeah,
actually, that was a thing. Actually, and Carl could.
It was a thing, and I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Carl could answer to this. Actually, there was a guy.
Wait, you tell me Carl was eating Willie's ass?
No.
Wait,
this is it's a true story, but it's I did the routine on my first DVD in 2017. There was a guy named Pemberton in England, and he used to put Pop Rocks under his foreskin. And the thing is, not Pop Rocks. I'm sorry, I said Pop Rocks, and it's not Pop Rocks there. It was Fizz Whiz. And the thing is, the company from Fizz Whiz knew about this trend, that their lawyers released a statement warning people not to put Fizz Whiz under their foreskin, and if you do, wash thoroughly afterwards. The guy didn't wash, and he actually got necrotitis fasciitis.
Wow.
He got what?
That's Latin for your dick burnt off.
Yeah, it's a really bad
burn on his penis.
Flesh. Yeah. It's a really bad
dick burn.
Yeah, really bad. They had to have emergency. He had to have emergency surgery.
I got
you know what I haven't had in a really long time that I used to get a lot as a teenager? Rug burns. I haven't had a rug burn in a long ass time.
Yeah, I got two. I was just gonna say that I got two vicious rug burns on on my wrists, on the backside of my wrist from doing this. And I woke up the next day. I was like, "What happened?" And then people were like, "What happened to your wrist?" And I had a story to tell. But yeah,
right.
It basically
and then I got smart and stopped fucking on the floor.
Yeah, but alcohol burns. I know alcohol burns in sensitive areas, and I never put it in my ass or on my dick, but I know it burns in sensitive areas. So I can't imagine.
But
there was a lot. Boofing was like this whole thing there for a while, and I mean, there was a lot of young people putting alcohol in their asses. And with the champagne being bubbly, I'm not saying that it's not a discomfort, but I think it probably numb up pretty quick. In my opinion.
Also wonder there's probably different neurons there than in your mouth, because in your mouth the things there are designed to taste, and you're supposed to, in your mouth, you're supposed to know what's burning, what's spicy, what you can and can't do.
Right.
It was not by design.
Part of the design to let you know that you're doing something wrong. That's
right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But if that was not something that was ever expected, it's like, then we don't need neurons right there for that, do we?
So
who's going to be doing
with
that?
that in mind, the pain is your marker to tell you that you shouldn't be doing something. If you're shoving something up there and it hurts, stop.
That's why I wouldn't get my knee. That's why I wouldn't take drugs when I was for 7 years. I was waiting. I had no cartilage in my right knee, and the insurance company was being really dickish about it.
When I worked in pathology, there was an epidemic, and this is not a joke, even though it sounds like it might be a joke. It's not a joke at all. There was an epidemic of people coming to the hospital with things up their ass, whether it was a TV remote,
jackass for that.
Ashtray,
gerbils.
I know no gerbils. I think that was a mess. I don't
know. No, well, it's not.
I can't imagine a gerbil cooperating and not biting your anus to shit. And to shit.
Well, yeah, the story that I heard about a guy who he got a gerbil stuck in his ass. It had scratched its way out of the hose they were using to keep it in the ass, because they put it in like a pantyhose and put it in the guy's ass.
Oh.
And he said that he felt like something was wrong or whatever. They pulled the pantyhose out, and
there was something
fucking
wrong
gerbil
way before that.
Wow.
There was something wrong when he first had the idea to put a gerbil there.
Don't ever step on Willie's punchlines. All right. That
wasn't a punchline. He was telling you a story.
Well, he was finishing the story. The finish of the story is a punchline.
No, first of all, Willie never finishes a story, so you're not interrupting.
He was this close, and you cut him off. He was this close to actually finishing this.
That's true.
The question on the table. There's a question on the table.
You know, I've never had someone other than me be that upset about me not getting there. Like that's. Usually I'm the one upset about not getting there, so I appreciate you.
All right. Well, because you were never so close. I've never seen anybody so close to the finishing a joke, but so far. The question on the table
close to a joke, but so far from a punchline.
How long do you wait with an ashtray up your ass, trying to get it out on your own before you go to the hospital?
What's it made of?
Glass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the shape of it?
Actually, with glass you can wait because glass.
Well, hard thick glass, like an ashtray. It's like big glass. Forget it's an ashtray. It's a remote control,
like the things your wife.
The remote control you need
with the batteries with the batteries in it that could turn acidic.
Well, the remote control you need that out right away. Otherwise, you can't change the channels.
You think so? You go. Well,
that's not the point. Harder.
How long do you wait before you go through the embarrassment of going to the hospital? And listen, it's not like you can go to the doctor and say, I need to schedule time. You have to go to the emergency room. And when you go to the window and there's people with a heart attack and this guy's overdosing, what's your problem? I have a remote control up my ass. Have a seat and
what
wait.
You do is that's when you have like a gun injury and you go, and doctor, while I'm here for this, can you
so you shoot yourself.
You just shoot yourself on the way to the emergency room.
You shoot yourself and you say, Doc, why you getting this bullet out?
Yeah, get yourself prioritized. That's good thinking, GD.
Hey. Would you like to meet our new sponsor? Jackie should be here any moment. I can introduce you.
Awesome.
Our new sponsor is called Tracy's Dog. It's a pet service of sorts. Tracy's Dog is new product,
right?
And I will tell you about some special offers that we have involving Tracy's Dog after this.
Hey there, I'm Mr. Geronimo, product manager for Tracy's Dog. What is Tracy's Dog? Well, for $50, we send you a high-quality sex toy right to your door. Yeah, $50. Are our toys any good? No. They're f***ing amazing. Yeehaw! Each toy is made with body-safe silicone. We are constantly evolving and innovating our product line. They are built for one thing, to shake your world with orgasms you ain't never seen before.
I seen them.
Do you like spending $100 for your sex toy? 80 of it goes to retail. What about bumping into your family while at the sex toy shop?
Well,
good taste. Get the pleasure you deserve without broadcasting your secrets. And think of all the money we're going to be saving you.
Tracy's Dog. Coffee with the dog. Coffee with Tracy's Dog. My wife bought my grandson that dollar shooting gun for Christmas. I don't think she knew that. what it's really used. I guess it's used for money, to show the money you saved at the sex. I've never been to a sex toy store. I know Willie has. I'm assuming GD has because of his lurid past in the sex worker world. But I've never. So I'm running into a family member there would be extremely awkward. Like, how do you? There's no explaining that. What are you doing here? I like the fact that Tracy's dog is using non-toxic stuff in their butt plugs. I've always been
I want to know
supportive.
who's working there. You got a building and that clean, and there's no workers. Apparently, everything is being made in China by small children.
It was probably done on Christmas morning, just to kind of, everybody was off and it was doing the Scrooge thing. Now, I want to tell you about a special offer for some of our listeners. And Kelly, perk your ears up. Kelly, put down the dry cleaning and listen to this. Tracy's dog toy tester program. What? Toy tester program? Yeah, that's right. Toy tester program. You can test it.
Ooh.
Tracy's dog is a sex toy website where they discuss everything related to sex and sex toys, in addition to conducting their own testing and research on the latest products. They love to hear valuable feedback from a variety of users for free sex toys. Input helps them continually enhance their sex toys and deliver you the highest quality products. You can get in on it. It's absolutely free. They send you, so you heard them talk about $50. Forget the $50. It's totally free. They will send you, stuff. Whatever weird looking stuff that will hurt your hiney. Will hurt your hiney.
Stuff you're stuffed with.
Yeah, very weird looking stuff. I don't even know how to listen. If you give it to somebody like me, I'd be like a chimp trying to figure out how to use a fucking black detector. I don't
give
know
it to
how.
Somebody like me, I'll really run it through paces.
No, I don't think you'd ever find a woman. You never leave home. You just start using it on yourself. And
I think Willie will find it breaking.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. I was like, bro, when I was perusing the website yesterday, I was like, I don't think I'd ever need a woman again if I bought this shit. Like, so, I was like, holy fuck.
If you contact me directly at info@minddogtv.com, I will hook you up with the tester program. And then, but before you do, there's the catch. Before you deliver your product review to them, I think we get the premiere. We get the debut of your product review. Now, you don't have to get visual with it and actually show us what you do.
But I want to.
Well, not
so. So if you want to be a tester or a testee, you need to contact Matt here.
Info@minddogtv.com.
Oh, okay.
I'll just make Willie read all that. Now, speaking of sex toys, my favorite
Email
sex toy
now. Did you see this?
My favorite sex toy is with us now, ladies and gentlemen.
Kelly's gonna have 10 fucking emails in your box.
Please say good morning to our friend who I have ruined Jackie's reputation, and I'm sorry about that. He used to have a decent reputation among people in show business. They heard he's been doing this show, and all of a sudden he's persona non grata in every place in the world. But we welcome him back. Jackie, welcome back. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Jackie. I don't think I've ever seen this room. Of course, I mean, many times I've been to your house, I've never seen this room.
It's the one in the basement where I try the sex toys.
It's just a different angle of the joke line.
You don't have to say everything you know, Matt.
Well, he doesn't know.
Let him be fantasizing that I have a huge house with 1 million rooms. I have to tell you, first of all, did you get the new plug I sent you?
I did. I didn't look at it, but I got it. Yes, I will.
It just got rubber stamped like 2 days ago, so I haven't even put it on my website yet.
Now this is where is it? The Long Island Music Hall of Fame. Who runs that now? Is that the same people that run the Port Jefferson Bald Hill Amphitheater? That Jim.
It's such a floating thing. I don't know. We're dealing with one guy and he's dealing with another guy. But at any rate, the sound and entertainment guy, where I'm screening my documentary and doing a Q&A and jokes, and it's Saturday night. January 27th at 7:00, and I'm excited because they got a mailing list, so it's like shooting rats in a trap. You know what I mean? Like they just put out the word, and you spelled collective wrong, of course.
You did. I just copied and pasted that from your text, brother. I swear I don't.
I would
I can't.
never, ever, ever make a mistake ever in my life.
I know that, but this time, you know what? Joke. I didn't even realize that joke man is 2 words. I should have known that because I always have it as joke man. 1 word.
I thought collective had 2 B's.
I always thought butt plug had
now
2
when
T's.
you're there. When you're there at the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame, I hope that you ask them, when are the Rockin' 45s getting in? Because that's a question.
Well, I'm going to do that right when the guy gets up to take a dump. I'm going to put up my own picture somewhere on the wall.
Never. Rockin' 45s will never be. Now, a guy pissed himself, but we started talking about a sex worker who's on Twitter, and I'm going to find her, but she's talking about eating poo. But my New Year's Eve.
Hold on. Before you make me throw up, was that a real commercial you just did?
Yes, that's our new sponsor. It's Tracy's dog.
And what is it?
It's a sex toy online discounts, cheap sex toys, cheaper than most places. It's non-toxic there, so you can put it in your butt without getting butt cancer. Or wherever you put it.
I don't know.
It's important to not get butt cancer.
I never, ever shopped at any of those places. Once in a while, you'd have a date who would dump out a bunch of stuff on the bed and like, what planet is she from? I actually had a girlfriend that put 3 or 4 things in the bed, in the drawer by the bed. And I don't think I ever opened up the drawer until my next girlfriend opened it up. I'm not a fan of that insertion and all that stuff. I'm all for the Astroglide lubrication stuff. But a long time ago, and stop me if I told you this story already. It was my birthday. No, it was Christmas time. And my grandmother was at my house. And everybody used to hang out at my house. All my friends, my brother's friends. It was a real melting pot of craziness. And 2 of my very crazy, very drunken friends went out, and I guess they stopped at one of these sex places. And they came in the back door, and my grandmother was sitting there, and they gave me their 2 presents. And the first thing they gave me was this huge blow-up sex doll, right? And my grandmother's sitting there, and which, in the back of our minds, we're all drunk trying to figure out, I wonder if grandma has any idea what's going on, right? And then I opened the next present, and it was a rubber mold of a vagina with fake hair on it and everything. And it took batteries, and it would move. And we're sitting there freaking out, wondering if my grandmother knows what's going on. And my grandmother goes, is that a set? Like do they go together? She knew exactly what is that a set? Oh my God. Like,
she is your grandmother. Or was.
She was my grandmother. But I never used either of them, and that's about as far as I got with the whole sex toys thing.
I'm not really
so you wasted the gift of your friend. I see.
I don't know. I think we gave it to a homeless person. There weren't even any homeless back then, so you had to.
They needed it. They needed it. It's hard to get laid when you're homeless. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking as you're telling the story. Is like where you live. It's not like here. Here is a country. It could be like Missouri, where porn shops are places where they're kind of. It's rural and they're hidden. Where you live, it's very populated. There's no place to put these shops where you can just park and walk there, like sneak in.
I don't even. This is 1968 or something. So where they went, I know if they're in the city or probably in that far off land. What's it called? Suffolk County.
Yeah, that far up.
One of those weird places.
Yeah, because we have a lot of them out here, but they're generally you pass them. They're like, often like an industrial area where perverts get off work or their lunch hour and go over there and buy whatever.
But who would go there now? Who would go there now that everything's online? Like you said, it must be a trip. It's even a trip to run into an old family friend. I had a buddy that was so rich and had a beautiful wife and a beautiful family, and he totally, started screwing up. And one day I took my nephew bowling for his birthday, we went to this out of the way bowling place somewhere in Westbury, and this guy, he was sitting at the bar drunk out of his mind at 2:00 in the afternoon. What are the odds that somebody you know were going to walk in to a bowling alley bar to, hey, Brian, hey, what are you doing here? You know?
Yeah. Well,
It's so funny
weirdest,
to catch somebody out of context, you know.
the weirdest thing that ever happened when the cops came into a bar looking for me, my friends were there 4:00 in the morning, back when bars stayed open till 4:00 in the morning. They were looking for a guy named Matt Napo, and my friends who were in the band at the time, they were, yeah, I know the name. I've heard of him. And what'd he do? He's like, he destroyed a cannon in Lindenhurst. They had this memorial cannon, and it was there for like years and years and years. And somehow in the snow, I ended up crushing it and destroying my car. And I couldn't get the car off the cannon, so I just left it there and walked home.
What you drove? What it was full of snow, and you drove over it or something?
Yeah. Well, I was actually what was happening was I had a girlfriend who was cheating on me. I was following her from a bar, and it was snowing out and the roads were wet. And she made the light. She turned at the light, and I was coming up fast, and the light turned red. And I slammed on the brakes and lost control. Did a spin out. Ended up on the median, crossed over the cannon, destroyed the cannon, and then couldn't get the car off of the top of the cannon. And so I walked home, but left, basically all my stuff in the glove compartment, registration.
But she was
DUI the same way.
She wasn't using a cannon as a sex toy.
No, she could have. She was a big girl.
That's why he took it out. He was like, "Fuck this cannon. She'll never rub up on it again."
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've done that too, where you get in an accident or you screw up and you just leave your car. If you did that now, you'd get life. You know?
No, yeah, I didn't even get in trouble. The cops were they understood.
No. My buddy did it like 5 years ago. My buddy did it 5 years ago. He got a deal. What he did is he was backing out of his parking spot at the bar, and there was like some landscape area with a big ass fucking rock on it. And when he was backing out, he fucking backed his truck like all the way up onto the rock and got high centered on it and couldn't get off of the rock, and then just left his fucking truck sitting on top of this fucking big ass boulder that was in the parking lot, and it just went off. Just fucking went off.
The end of my story.
Rule number one: when you're going out, you back in sober, you pull out drunk. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I never played by the rule. The end of my story.
So what happened, Matt? They got you?
Well, the cops came and they came to my house and they said they were going to have to tow the car and I was going to have to pay for the cannon. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to pay for a towing charge and a cannon and all this stuff. So we had a studio session for 10 o'clock that morning. Now, it's already 5 o'clock in the morning and I need to get some sleep because I got a studio session. The drummer comes and picks me up. We get to the studio and the engineer is standing at the door of the studio. He goes, "Boy, you had a wild night, huh?" I was like, "What?" He said, I'm sitting at the bar and the cops come in looking for you. You destroyed the cannon. And everybody, it was all over town that I destroyed the cannon. And then after the studio session, we went to leave and there was a new cannon in place. It's like, what the fuck? Do they have a warehouse full of cannons for when this happens? Like every time somebody kills.
I was going to say, if you have to replace the cannon, how do you do that? Where do you look that up?
They obviously had replacements ready to go.
That's
it's at the corner of Wellwood Avenue and Montauk Highway in Lindenhurst. You can go see the cannon.
Jesus.
That's your cannon. That's you should go scratch your name into that fucking thing.
It might be my cannon, but it might be somebody else's. I'm sure this was 40 years ago.
Somebody else probably
back
had
then they had
it's
Sunny
a new one
surplus
already again.
Yeah,
it's
40
a common
years ago, they had
crime
Sunny
in
surplus, so you could easily get a cannon or anything that was left over from the war.
Right. Well, it was a Civil War. It was like a Gatling gun cannon. It is. I mean, but obviously they have plenty on hand to every time somebody does that.
Well, I think it's racist and it should come down.
Yeah, so I did a good thing. I was a social warrior justice in 1980 or whatever it was, 1979.
That would have worked. That would have worked.
Yeah. Yesterday, the big news was we were waiting for, or the big rumor was that Epstein's list of people were going to come out. And people asked me, what would shock you? I said, what would shock me if somebody I knew or ever met was on that island? Because I don't think anybody I know has ever met Jeffrey Epstein. And then I remembered you have met Jeffrey Epstein.
Barbara asked me, she said, are you going to be on that list? I said, I'm sure I'm not, but I really wish I was. That'd be so fun. But I didn't interact with him enough.
That'd be so fun. What the fuck?
I didn't have any actual, but emails. We had a lot of emails. I don't know if that would do the trick. So to speak.
No, you didn't get any money from them.
Now, what's the story? At first, they said they're going to release this huge list. Then they said they're going to release the list. Only some of the names were going to be redacted. Now, of course, the names that would be redacted would be the ones that you'd want to know. But then I read yesterday that the redacted ones are going to be unredacted. So what is the story?
I thought the redacted ones were going to be the underage victims. And that would make sense.
Yeah, they're going to redact the underage victims. And they're also going to redact any like repeated names, like because I guess whatever they're going to be releasing, there's going to be like some names that are repeated in different sections, and they're not going to do that. Like if the name is out there, it's out there.
Would the minors not be minors anymore? I mean, they were minors back then, but
still, you don't want your whole.
But still, yeah.
You don't want your whole.
Yeah, they were minors when it happened or whatever. Yeah, I think that's if they were minors at the time, that's the.
Now, do you remember when this whole thing, even before that, there was a whole deal where one of the girls, I think that it's been come to light again. One of the girls or two of the girls that were involved at Epstein's place, there was a huge lawsuit. And these two girls who had been 14 years old at the time were naming Trump and Epstein. And there was a whole huge court case or a whole huge thing. And they were about to do a press conference in Los Angeles. And their lawyer was Lisa Bloom, who's what's-her-face's daughter, the big muckety-muck woman's lib one.
Yeah,
and
Gloria.
Like a half an hour before they did the press conference, they canceled it.
Because they got the money.
Do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think their families got threatened or whatever.
Oh.
But that would have blown the roof, not to make a bad joke, but that would have blown the roof off everything with Epstein and Trump and and this is before Epstein was dead, And it was the whole Jane Doe thing. If you Google Jeffrey Epstein, Jane Doe, Donald Trump, the whole thing comes up,
Yeah.
Another bad joke.
Yeah. The woman's name is Ayala, by the way. We were talking this morning about the woman who eats the poo. Now, because she's on Twitter.
She's like,
what? She eats poo.
She eats poo.
Poo.
She eats
shit. She's a shit eater.
Fecal matter.
Not the cartoon character.
2 cups, 1 girl. Do you remember that whole thing? 2 cups, 1
Yeah,
girl?
kind of like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Never saw it.
And she makes a living by asking like really sexual questions on Twitter. Somehow Twitter pays her for all the engagement that she gets on her ridiculous posts. But she was talking about she was in a store and somebody recognized her and came up and said, do you mind if I ask you a personal question that might be a little embarrassing? And she replied, I go viral for talking about how I like to eat poo and shower very infrequently. What do you think could embarrass me? That was the first I had learned that she eats poo and doesn't shower. So that's totally.
If I ever ran into her, I would sell her a toothbrush.
Right. That's
yeah.
Well, that when Will was talking about
and some floss,
a girl eating his ass, I was like, did you kiss her afterwards? I mean, because I would never kiss her again.
Stop it! It's sexual. It's sexual. You don't jump.
Wow.
You don't jump off the pot into bed and stick your ass on her face. I mean, there's a little intermittent.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
Well, there are different degrees of everything,
Right. It's just not for me.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I would not eat a girl's fanny in between wipes. You know what I'm talking?
Oof.
Right. Right. Like I'm not here for cleanup.
And then she said, about older men, because she said she, as a sex worker, all the poo questions. Oh, people actually, I'm not the only one that got interested in the poo. She said, men, she said she's kissed a lot of men as a sex worker, and old men, their mouths dry up and they kiss different. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Maybe they just know that you just ate poo, and then I want to see it.
But that right there is strange because most sex workers do not kiss you.
Right?
Yeah, they don't kiss. Yeah, that's like against the rules to kiss.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Well, that's a Pretty Woman.
Generally,
myth,
yeah.
isn't it?
Generally, you're not supposed to. Yeah. Generally, they don't kiss on the mouth anyway. They don't kiss.
Yeah, it's like 5 times more money if you want to kiss them. It's so weird,
Well, yeah, no. So
Well, because what it is it's an intimacy change. The kissing is like an act of intimacy, and that's not necessarily what they're there for. They're there for
I think
something
they have to
sexual,
say something
not
special.
something
They have to
intimate.
say something special for their boyfriends or girlfriends. Something
Right?
they
Yeah.
don't
I
do
mean,
themselves.
and that's very true, though. You know what I mean? Like if you're a sex worker and you're dating someone, there kind of has to be something that you do with your partner that you don't do with your customers.
Right.
Mike knows my cannon. He said it's technically a Gatling gun. All right, it is. He's right about that. It is a Gatling gun.
this is a very varied conversation.
I know. We jump around a lot.
We're eating ass and selling cannons.
No, not we. No, not we. There is no we. There is no we.
Amish girls don't fuck because it might lead to dancing. That was the old joke.
What I want to say is, we should have a disclaimer about this. Is you kids don't eat ass, because we saw what happened to Mark Norman. Mark Norman, skinny guy, somehow got he got a bad plate of ass. I guess he ordered it at the local Dominican restaurant where they serve really rotten ass,
spicy ass,
yeah.
Jerk.
And he blew up. He had an allergic reaction, and he blew up. So I guess
peanuts.
The official.
I mean, there are parasites that you need to be cautious of. That is true.
And
you can get a parasite eating ass.
Well, I tell you, if you don't eat ass, that's not going to happen to you. So follow my lead on
true.
My money's on a nut allergy, but okay, could be a parasite.
Right. So now holidays. Did you have a good holiday? Did you enjoy your Christmas?
Yeah, let's talk about Christmas.
Your Christmas and New Year's dinner, family thing, big family get-togethers. No, quiet.
I am so embarrassed. My girlfriend and I were sitting there. We went to dinner and came home at 10:30. So we're sitting there watching some bad television, and I keep checking the time. And at some point, I got involved in the TV show, and she nodded out, and all of a sudden, oh, Barbara, it's 10 after 12. We missed the ball. We literally missed the entire thing. First time ever.
Right.
It's like, and you know what? And I really could have cared less,
Yeah, me too. Just another year.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever do the New Year's Eve at Times Square?
No, I never went to watch the ball drop, but they did it in Lindenhurst this year. On my way to the gig, I'm coming down Wellwood Avenue to see my cannon, my Gatling gun, and the traffic was shut off. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? It looked like were having a feast with rides and stuff. I was like, it's too cold out. Not this time of year to have like Ferris wheels out. Turned out they had built a tower to do a ball drop in Lindenhurst on New Year's Eve.
We went to eat with my buddy in Lindenhurst, and we're going down Wellwood Avenue. And before we turned to go to his house, whatever turn we had to make, I saw all these lights, and it looked like all the streets were closed off. Was it right on Wellwood Avenue?
Yeah.
It was a whole big deal. It was, it looked like it was a carnival.
Right. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. And wasn't until I got to the gig and I asked about it. It was a Lindenhurst ball drop. And I'm surprised that's a long way for you, Lindenhurst, from where you live.
Very, very good friends, and we went out to dinner at the Snapper Inn and had a lovely time. We just want to do something. We usually have 10 people over and make steak and blah blah blah, and I have a big party, and it's so great. And here it is, New Year's Day, and you're cleaning up. Who needs that? Sometimes you want to take a break. Who cares?
Let me ask you about this, because I feel kind of guilty. You're probably not even aware that people say, "What the fuck is Jackie doing on this fucking morning show with this idiot Napo?" I've
I
ruined your
like you.
reputation.
Why am I not allowed to like you?
I guess not. Well, I'm a dick to a lot of people. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I put out a
Well,
lot of
you
stuff.
know what? I don't pay attention, so I don't. I don't know anything about anybody. My only complaint is that Will says the word "fuck" way, way more than he should, and it would add a lot of class to him as a person to say it 1/3 as many times. But that's the only thing.
I think
And
Barry
you have an
Katz.
African American on the show. You got a lot going for you having an African American. I don't see any Chinese. But aside from that, we have fun. We have reasonable discussions.
Yeah, he's not really African American. He's just faking it. So
I really am Chinese.
Yeah.
Can't you see the eyes? Look at the eyes.
That ain't no Chinese.
I thought Napa was part Chinese.
Look at that, Will. That was a whole sentence without cursing. That was good. Look at you. You can do it. You can.
Yay! Look at this guy.
Technically, Matt is Napanese.
Yeah. He's referring to the time I got
Japanese. I like that.
Kidnapped, taken home by a Chinese family when I was a little kid. My father lost me at.
You were adopted. You were adopted by them. That's what makes.
Yeah, I was adopted by them for a week. Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, lost me
which explains Matt's accent.
Right.
Nothing explains his back. And what about his mustache? None of it. Hey, did you really get complaints from people about me being on the show?
No, no. I see people talking on stuff about like, what is Jackie doing with this dipshit? Oh, just on clips that where you're on YouTube. They're like, not everybody hates me. Put that out there. I do put out a lot of reels that are. There's 60-second clips out of stuff, and they don't give people a full context. And I'm not talking about your stuff, because your stuff is almost all jokes and stuff, and nobody complains about that. But they want to know why you are giving your time to a nobody like me. I get called a nobody a lot on the.
Well, the commute is easy. It's a 30-second walk from my bedroom to my garage, right, to my office, whatever you call it. And I love coming on the air, and it's fun. I mean, I love sitting here yakking. You know what?
I'm glad.
And talk to the TV show. Talk to the TV screen.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. I just I don't want to be responsible for other people thinking that. Well, does he need to work? It's like he's not getting paid for this. First of all, he doesn't need to work. He's doing me a favor by showing up.
See, that's what I'm doing wrong.
I usually do my plug. Listen, I'm sure it's going to get me two extra people at the Hall of Fame thing. I think that's a big deal. That's finally we got the rights back to the documentary, and I'm doing screenings in Los Angeles at the El Portal in Hollywood, and I'm doing a screening. I think we're going to do one at the Bolton Center, and that's fun, And I actually have a gig at Soul Joel's in Pennsylvania. I don't work much, but I still dig doing it. So yeah. And I like coming on the air. I like going to BAB. I like going on Q104. I go on with Mark Simone. I loathe his politics and everything he says, but we go back 40 years to when we were drinking and talking about girls. Way back then. So
yeah, I never. You know what? I don't listen to the political aspect of Mark Simone stuff, but I've always, I've known him for not known him personally, but known about him and listened to him for. God, in 1980, around there. So yeah, and BAB has changed a lot.
What?
I just said the morning show at BAB has changed a lot. I remember Bob Buckman doing it when you were with Howard. That's how long ago that was.
Bob Buckman called 516-922-WINE every morning at 8:00 for almost 3 years.
Wow,
that really helped get my dial joke going. Helped my Long Island governors, that was all integral to the whole thing. Between BAB and Newsday and governors, suddenly I was on the map. And Buckman, I got a letter from Buckman. We took his ratings up 40%.
I think that's how I first found out about you. Not in Good Times magazine where they had a little listing of the joke line, but from Buckman's show in like the early 80s, like somewhere around there.
Right, 80, 81, 82. He would pretend he was calling 516-922-WINE, but he was actually calling my bedroom and I had a separate, separate recording for him and Perry Apollo, and I'd insult the hell out of him and tell filthy jokes that I could get away with, and then he would like hang up on me and set off a bomb, and then go into the #1 record of that week, and it was a really popular feature for years and years,
Wow.
So it was cool.
You started out with that in your mother's house, right? But now it's in your house. I'm thinking because I called it this morning, and I call it like last week. I called it like 15 times, and I'm thinking, does he hear it ring every fucking time I call?
No, but it's actually the second line in my house. It's like a 2-line phone, and it's the second line, and it's it's just a 2-minute answering machine with the sound off. And it goes off pretty often. People, they can't believe it's still going. I mean, I've never gotten anything out of it. People say, "Wow, you should have retired." I said that line has been costing me money for 44 years. This is this right now is the 44th anniversary. This month is the 44th anniversary.
I called twice this morning because whenever I want to test my phone, and it's for some reason I couldn't get the audio on the phone lines working this morning. But I whenever I do need to test it, I call 922-WINE and 516-9221. And so I called it a couple of times this morning, but I got a busy signal. It's like, wow, other people like really beat me to the joke line this morning.
Did you call back again?
Yeah.
Did it work the next time?
Yeah. I finally got through, but I couldn't get the phone.
I just want to make sure it wasn't down. If it's screwed up, it goes busy. But if it's busy, it's busy. That's good.
I'm not sure if it was this morning with the cow joke. My wife is from wherever.
Oh, I love that joke.
I just ruined it for people.
I laughed out loud. Yesterday, I was nobody caught that. So, what was I? I was looking at something and I laughed out loud at a joke I haven't thought about in a million years. The guy is teaching his grandson how to jerk off. And his grandson says, "Grandpa, this doesn't feel that good." He says, "Wait till it's your cock."
We just want to go back to the disclaimer.
Oh
here.
My God.
The thoughts and opinions are those of the guests and not necessarily Cablevision, their employees or associates. So, we're not.
God damn it.
Was that too offensive?
Nah, I don't. Okay, there's nothing I can actually do to get canceled.
No, not at
all. Have you ever, when you was first starting out, like
in order to get canceled, people got to watch this
before Howard Stern? Have you ever been totally fucking broke, where you had no gigs, nothing on the calendar, and really had like fucking $10 in your pocket or something, like really destitute? Have you ever been there?
It doesn't count that, when
have you ever been
yes,
with Willie? That's
but
what he's
in
asking.
weird situations, when I started doing comedy, I moved into my mother's attic. So that's not being broke because you got a place to live. When I was out in Michigan, after my girlfriend and I broke up and my band was hardly playing, it was literally, am I going to eat or am I going to feed the dog? So I definitely went through some, really, really broke time. But I was broke my whole life. My wife used to get mad at me because I would open up my wallet and go, "Look at that, $100 bills." And she'd say, "Will you stop with the melodrama?" And I listen, if you go the first 38 years of your life without ever seeing a $100 bill, it never gets old. I never had any money ever. In college, I never had any money.
Yeah.
But you can't call that being broke because you're in college.
Right. Well,
So,
yeah.
It's broke.
For a lot of comedians, it's kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to call it an excuse. It's how do I get started when I got fucking nothing? I want to go out and work, but even to get to work, I'd have to find somebody who will give me the charity to get me to a gig and all that kind of stuff. So it's really difficult getting started when you.
That's the test. That's what separates the men from the boys. Is you figure out what to do.
Right.
I was so broke when my band broke up. I had nothing. I was playing guitar by myself and telling jokes and making like $40 a week. And I moved in with my old partner, and it just broke as hell. But you scraped. There was no job, so I went out and made them. And I
Right.
created all these gigs on Long Island, at all these bars where I took my amplifier and invited the comedians and got paid, and gave them money and kept the rest. You got to be creative. It's creating that is as important as creating an act.
Yeah.
One of my best friends lived. The only place he could find a job was like
Right.
in the next city from
Creating
where
the opportunity
he lived.
to present your act.
And to get to work, he slept in his car Monday through Friday so that he could be at the job. And then on the weekends, he'd go home to his wife and kids. The kids were like they didn't know, they were infants. And so he did that for 6 months to get by. And he says he never told his kids that. And I said, are you kidding? That's the first fucking thing I tell the kids.
Yeah.
That's how I lived out of my car for 6 months to keep you kids
A lot
clothed
of
and fed.
people. Jim Carrey lived in his car for 6 months. Letterman lived in his car for a couple months.
Yeah.
Everybody did what they had to do. I mean,
I
I'm not comparing us to them, but
I lived
Steve
in a
Harvey,
CIA.
too.
I lived in a CIA van. I was a courier for the government, for agencies of the government. And the van was provided by the Central Intelligence Agency. And I was driving around the country. I was living in the van, but I would have to deliver these top secret documents to Army bases or federal installations all over the place. And I would book like mini tours. So if I had to go to Lawton, Oklahoma from New York, I would look for 5 gigs I could get on my way there and bring 2 guys, and we'd have gigs along the way for peanuts. But that's how
the CIA. Now, who are you, Chuck Barris?
That's smart, though. That's really smart.
Yeah,
I was
such a. Yeah. But people think, oh, James Inman is like, oh, you were an agent. No, I wasn't. I was an $8 an hour courier in like 1981. It was like, and my psychiatrist at the time said, you can't work for $8 an hour. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't really want a real job. I don't want to apply for a real job. I want a job that I can get a van for.
You're not broke. If you can afford a psychiatrist, you are not broke.
Oh, it was a government. It was part of the job.
Yeah, you can get a psychiatrist for free.
Yeah, well, especially when you work for the government, you get psychiatric help for free. I used to I mess with the psychiatric guys all the time.
Yeah, because they know you need it.
Yeah, I would try to entertain them. My job with talking is try to be creative and make up. That's where I was working on trying to be a comedian, just by telling stories to the shrink and making stuff up that I thought they could never have heard before. So yeah.
Do you know the story about the guy who was freaking out because he thought there was a guy under his bed that was going to kill him, and he couldn't sleep at night, and it was making him crazy because he was so sure this guy under his bed was going to come out from under the bed and kill him. So he went to the psychiatrist and said, I'm freaking out. I keep thinking there's a guy under my bed that's going to get out and kill me. I can't sleep. And the psychiatrist said, well, you know what? If you come here 3 days a week for $100 a session, I think in probably 6 or 7 months, I can cure you. And the guy says, well, let me think about it. It's a lot of money. And he runs into the psychiatrist like a week later. And the psychiatrist says, well, what'd you decide? He said, I'm all set, doc. I'm all fine now. He says, well, who solved your problem? He says, the bartender. He says, the bartender? What did he do? He says, he told me to cut the legs off my bed. But that really tells the whole psychiatrist story right there. It's all such
there you go. Yeah.
It's all such bullshit.
What is this comment here? I used to deliver Delaware version of Richie's Good Time. Wow, that's very good. Richie, what's Brand? No.
Bransford.
Yeah, Bransford, right.
Richard Bransford.
Right. Good Times Magazine, when I was recording cassette tapes in the car, sending show ideas to Jackie, 1993 to 1995, called Big Shout Magazine. Wow, I never even heard of that one. You know that name, Jerry Lahan? Lahane?
That guy has been trailing me for 60 years saying that he wrote my act and sent me everything I ever said that was funny. I have no idea who that guy is.
Wow, that's really weird.
I'm sure I met him somewhere along the line, but I've never gotten straight exactly who he is. But
people are asking about Stern and all that stuff. Now tonight on Stand Up Memories, there's a Rob Bartlett, the one and only, one of the funniest human beings ever to live. Rob Bartlett.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a great interview. We had him, and I think next week is Bob Nelson, or Bob Nelson was last week, one or the other.
Wow,
I've had them both at the same time. Had them both at the not at the same time, but one guy was leaving, the other guy was coming in. We took some great pictures,
I love Rob, and he's one of my comedic heroes. He's not like nationally known unless you're a fan of Imus and all that stuff. He was more of a New York area, not that he was just restricted to here. He toured all over, but people here knew him very well. Great, super talented guy, and GD does song parodies. And what always got me, he did that Bob Dylan. What was that? I can't think of the name of the song, but it's just it's almost like a folk rap song. Don't look at a kid, you don't want to get hit, that one. But he would write a different one every week. And like, how do you remember all those friggin' words? I mean, super talented guy.
Crazy big talent. He was one of the original 7 guys that we all started together, Richard M. Dixon's. We called ourselves the Magnificent 7. It was me and him and Nelson, Minervini, Myers, Hawthorne, and Woods. And it was funny. We were 7 guys that started comedy on Long Island. No Jews, no blacks, just 7 white guys, which was very, very, very odd. And we were all terrible, but we all had a little spark going, And
right.
And we kicked ass. All of us kicked ass,
Yeah. Musically, did you ever like collaborate with him on anything? Because he's like a great, very good singer.
He came over to my house one time and recorded a song. I have the actual tape somewhere. I don't know whether it's the song or just the background music. He used to do a thing in his act called Timmy and the Tot Tones, where it was like a little 6-year-old kid doing rock and roll. I don't know. For all I know, he still does it, or he might not have done it for the last 40 years. I don't know. We weren't really in touch, but he's a really good guy forever. Always was a great character.
Yeah. I got to get him back on the program. I love Rob. Now, yesterday, I brought up Freddie Prinze because I saw Tonight Show debut of Freddie Prinze, 19 years old. Fresh out of the performing high school for the performing arts in New York. At 19 years old, he came on, made his debut with Johnny Carson. Johnny said he'd never been on television before. Please welcome Freddie Prinze. And he did like 6 or 7 minutes. That was the most polished. Like, I'm looking at this and thinking, how could this freaking kid be 19 years old and be that good and that polished and that perfected the timing to the point where when he got the light to say, or I don't know how they do it on the Tonight Show, when he get a light or what, but when his time was up, he had timed it perfectly for a callback to his opening bit there. Not my yob, man. That stuff. Did you know him at all? Or
No. He's way before my time, but I think he really honed his whole thing at Catch a Rising Star. And Carson didn't see him, but somebody saw him at Catch a Rising Star. And I think he went right from Catch a Rising Star to the Carson show. I don't think it was via the Comedy Store. But it happened so fast. And then all of a sudden he had all this money. And, the whole world wanted to give him Coke. And it was right when it was really crazy. I barely knew guys that knew him. But he just was like a boom. He was only a flash in the pan because he died so quick. He didn't run out of talent or run out of anything. All of a sudden he was on that show, Freddie and the Man or whatever it was.
Chico and the Man.
And it was a huge success. And he just, he couldn't
Jack
control
Albertson.
himself.
Yeah, I was having my senior moment yesterday. I couldn't remember Jack Albertson's name. But yeah, and we still play the song Chico and the Man. People know, like, what song? Jose Feliciano did the theme song, Chico and the Man, for that show. It's an interesting time. But what made me think of him was you talking about all white guys, and he was a Puerto Rican at a time when it's in L.A. They branded him as a Chicano because they didn't know what the difference between a Puerto Rican and a Chicano. So Chico and the Man, they basically had him playing a Mexican Chicano guy, and not knowing that those Chicanos and Puerto Ricans were two very different cultural groups. And
I still don't know the difference.
Well,
I just know they're not Chinese, and they're not African American, and they're not Will.
And they speak different dialects of Spanish, and it's New York, L.A. It's or East Coast, West Coast, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he was very.
Somebody
funny.
just said the other day. What was I reading? A New Yorkican. Have you ever heard that expression?
No.
Like a Puerto Rican from New York, a New Yorkican. Yeah. Like that was brand new. You got to read the Cliff Nesteroff book, Outrageous. Do you know about that?
Yeah, I read that book. Yes.
The new one?
No. What's the Chris?
Not the one about American comedy. That book is incredible. He just came out with a book called Outrageous about all the complaints about everything that's ever happened in show business since like 1860, and it is staggering. Just staggering. The shows that they wanted off the air, and the Christians, and the complaints, and how the network bowed to everything. You will love it. You will love the book. It's called Outrageous.
I was talking about that with Tommy Smothers passing just the other day, a week ago, whatever it was. Is that
there's a whole big hunk about him in there?
They were the first victim of what I call cancel culture, where they weren't fired for what they did on the show. They were fired because of what Tommy was saying off the show in public, and they didn't like that. And that was unheard of. I mean, at least to me in those days, we never heard of somebody losing a show because they said so. It was just a different time. It wasn't.
They were a thorn in CBS's side. I don't know how old you are, but that was right at the crest of my love for college and my first year off campus and living by myself. And I was sitting with a girl. She invited me to dinner. She lived in East Lansing, Michigan. I went to her house. She made me dinner, and then I swear to God, was sitting there watching the Smothers Brothers, and I still remember Moms Mabley was playing Cinderella's fairy godmother. This little old shriveled up black woman, all dressed in white. I'm still laughing, and I'm sitting there on the couch with this, and she was very pretty, this girl, and I lifted my leg and I farted, and I swear to you, she looked over at me, she lifted her leg, and she farted. That's never happened to me before, never happened to me since. I could not believe it. Jean Beauchamp, I should have married her. She was like, but it was the greatest show, and they had everybody on there. George Harrison and Paul Simon, and then all of a sudden it just got yanked. What a heartbreak,
Yeah. It's funny because somebody on Fact, it was an account on Twitter, said nobody knows if spiders fart. I think Mrs. Spider knows if spider farts. But how do they even know?
Spider meaning the guy in Goodfellas, or
no, a spider. Nobody knows if spiders fart. See, like what? So I don't know where people dig up these facts, but the guy comes up with like strange facts every day. But that one had me puzzled. Like, is there a scientist who's actually looking into this? Somebody with like a really, I don't know, a microscope.
Yeah, what's smaller than a flea's asshole?
I don't know.
Your interest in that left topic?
Flea shit. What kind of silliness, spider farts.
Yeah, spider farts.
That's a great. Every time there's something weird like that, the first thing that goes through my mind is, what a great band name.
I know. I'm the same way. Speaking of band names, did you do anything or did you even try to sell that guitar? You just nothing.
No, I put it on Twitter, and a few people said, "Oh, I'm really interested. And I said, "Well, email me," and nobody ever emailed me. I've gotten such varied things. Somebody said, "Oh, it's probably worth about $5,000." I've had people say, "No, it's worth like $30,000." So I really don't know, where do you go? You know what I mean? I'm sure the people that advertise on the web are the people that are going to steal it,
Yeah, most of the luthiers I know who would give you some kind of estimate would probably lowball you, thinking they could get
Right.
it and turn it over.
I was gonna say that the best there used to be a way to find out. You take it to the pawn shop, and whatever they offer you, triple it, and that's what it's worth.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
used to be
The thing is, it actually has a serial
Yeah,
number
no kidding.
on the plate on the bag,
kidding.
and there's only 6 digits. And
Right.
I guess they're up to like 8 or 9 now. So,
Yeah.
so
There's
who
guitars
knows?
everywhere. There's too many guitars
That's
on
good.
the planet.
That helps.
Everybody,
Having that serial number helps a lot to know the real value.
yeah,
They said
but
Les Paul's people told me that Les Paul was making so much money, even though they didn't pay him well. Gibson was paying him so much money, and then the real money happened when they gave the rights to China to make Les Paul guitars, and all of a sudden, it went berserk.
the profit margin must have jumped through the roof.
Well, probably because the production costs went down in China.
Yeah, because Gibson.
No, I'm talking about the people in China, actually, the kids in China actually buying Les Paul guitars,
So they were buying American Les Paul guitars. Wow.
Well, I don't know. I just know that all of a sudden it went worldwide.
Yeah. Now Gibsons are like really light wood. They look exactly like Gibson Les Pauls. They even say Gibson on the headstock. It's complete fake, but you can buy a Gibson for under $100. And that, if anybody's
what's it called? Gibson?
Gibson, yeah, it's like Chinese Gibson.
No, I have in my possession one of the last 20 Yamaha classical guitars.
I don't know why, but this is sparking.
Are you delayed, Will?
We had remember we had Ian Ryland Smith on or am I delayed?
I don't know. It seems like you're lagging a little bit. Go ahead. When you had Ian on the show,
that happening?
Are you hearing me? 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7.
Yeah, well, we had Ian on the show, and I was at a mic with him at this Black Flag Studios that also does a lot of music stuff. And I've never seen a comic do this. He didn't really have prepared jokes. And so he just started analyzing the guitars that were on the stage and just giving them guff over like there were a couple of them that weren't like up to par guitars or whatever. And like he works in a music store and everything, so he could be real snooty about different brands and this, that, whatever, because he's got a lot of knowledge. And I'd never seen somebody
that's not my
just pick apart the Sage.
Did the audience enjoy that?
I think we all just kind of looked at each other like, what is happening? What was that, Matt?
I said, did the audience enjoy the actual? Was it funny?
What happened?
You don't hear me? You don't hear me? Hello, you don't hear me?
No, I do. Why did Jackie leave? Did I make him mad?
He's sick.
I hear you.
No, if he was mad, he would just turn off his camera. He wouldn't just walk away. He probably either
I think he would tell you first and then turn off his camera. But I don't know him that well, and I don't know anything about comedy.
Right. No, and you don't know anything about people.
Right.
Or about
anything.
Ian. You don't know anything about Ian. But we know something about Ian now. We know he was making a bit out of making fun of people's guitars. The question is, did the audience appreciate that, or they're like, "What the fuck is going on here?" I can see comedians like.
No, I don't think so. I think it made most of the people in the room uncomfortable.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly comics anyway, but there was like maybe a handful of non-comics. That's one thing I mentioned because last night we had an open mic, but we had it in a comics basement, which, by the way, it was a dope ass environment. They have a really cool house and basement and all that, but it's just a bunch of comics, and like, there's value to that, of course, but listen, nothing is going to show you the true barometer of your comedy, like an actual fucking audience. You know what I mean? Like rooms full of comics or half full of comics. Like it's very difficult to really know what your material is doing because there's a lot of different factors when you're talking about a room full of comics. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you change your personality? I know if there's somebody who I admire. Why are you laughing at that?
You're assuming he has one to change.
Because he's pretty sure I got about 7 different personalities. It's probably
no. I think he just accused you of having none. But anyway, if I'm doing a gig,
is that what it is? I have no personality, Gigi? I don't think that's the problem. I've never been told that.
Hello. If I'm playing a gig and I know there's
we're in real trouble now.
Really good musicians there, I will. It affects me. It makes me self-conscious, really self-conscious, and I know I change who I am if I know that the room is full of ringers or guys who are, I look up to as musicians. I don't like it. I don't want them to be there. Where'd you go? You ran away, Jackie.
It doesn't make any sense to do coffee with the dog without coffee, so I went for a refill.
My wife.
My friend Larry plays all the time, everywhere. And they were playing at the Oyster Fest in Oyster Bay. He was playing with these guys and he was playing keyboards. And most of what he does is Billy Joel songs. And Billy showed up and stood there and watched him do a couple of his songs. And Larry said he was so ecstatic and petrified at the exact same time, And he's good. He does them well,
I heard Billy Joel talk about going into a restaurant and there was a guy just doing piano music, wasn't singing, and he saw Billy Joel there and he started playing Piano Man. And if you know Piano Man, if you analyze it a little bit, it doesn't change. It just goes up an octave. But it's the same pattern over and over again. Yeah. And Billy's just waiting for this guy to realize that you got nowhere to go now. People are going to get very bored with Piano Man without vocals. And he said he was just waiting for the guy. And when the guy finally realized, Billy was just like giving him a little wink, like, I know, you're stuck. Fuck you.
You can write 40 verses. You can write 40 verses for that song because the chords don't. It's like no change.
They're limericks. It's all limericks.
Have you seen?
I have a dream that one day I'll get to sing "Lady" in front of Lionel Richie.
And I thought you were going to say in front of Kenny Rogers. We can make that happen. We can bring you to wherever he's interred, and you can sing in front of Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers would be a little more difficult.
Yeah. I wrote a song for Kenny Rogers to use,
like at his gravesite or something.
No. This was a while ago. Back when I was trying to write songs for other people. And Kenny Rogers was one. The guy from the Ink Spots was another. And Kenny Rogers, bastard.
Did he record your song?
No, that's what I'm saying, bastard. It was a good song too. It was exactly what he asked for, exactly what he wanted.
We'll be. They actually put in a request. Like, I want a song that's up.
Yes, he put in a request. He said exactly what he wanted, and I filled it and didn't use it. And it really burns me because I couldn't use it. I don't sing and write like Kenny Rogers. I was doing it in his voice.
I never got that ever. And when I was, trying to get stuff, other people to record my stuff, I never got like specific requests. I would just submit stuff to publishing companies and hope for the best.
So specific requests. I also got requests. Also, like when there was a band that I wrote a song and they wanted it a little bit challenging, so I wrote it in C#. And they're like,
I'm surprised you even know what C# is. I mean, you don't know anything about comedy. I just assumed you didn't know anything about music.
I don't know anything about music, which is why apparently I didn't know anything about music because he told me nobody sings in C#. I said, nobody? Then why is there a C#?
Now it's a well-known thing in the music industry, and it's so weird that Irving Berlin was a horrible piano player, and that was the only key he could play in. Was C#. Google that. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And also there was a comic, I forget, one of the guys we started with 40 years ago, who did an impression of Elmer Fudd as Kenny Rogers, or maybe it was Leon. Who was it? Lionel Richie? Who originally? He'd go, Wadey.
Lionel Richie wrote it.
Wadey. That's
I
so
think they
funny.
both had hits with it. Kenny Rogers and Lionel both had hits with it. I think so. But yeah, that's
yeah,
funny
but like Kenny's version came out first, I think.
probably. Because it was it's still duck season. Do you have duck hunters where you are? Because you're right on the water like me, and every morning we wake up to shotguns going off. It's duck season.
No, I have never heard a shotgun.
Wow, no,
really?
We have duck season here, but we don't have. I was thinking we don't have wabbits. We have ducks. You know, the Elmer J.
We
Fed
had
thing.
4 rabbits in my yard for the whole summer, and then it went down to 3 to 2. And I haven't seen one probably in a couple weeks now. I don't know if they die. I don't know what their lifespan is, whether it's a year or 2 years or
Depends on how big the hawk is.
Rabbits generally live like 7 or 8 years, at least domestic rabbits. 7 or 8 years is about the lifespan of them. But I'm thinking in your yard, the rabbits probably found some really good salad and just like they're hibernating, stoned out of their mind right now.
Well, we used to never have rabbits because my cat Jake used to leave them in front of the fireplace as an offering without their heads on them.
I know.
All the baby rabbits. But then Jake passed away, so now the rabbits have our other cat could care less. So at some point you'll see 4 rabbits sitting on a lawn, which I like. But
yeah,
I don't know about now. It's crazy up here with the deer. I saw a deer right where 106 and 107 converge, right by Jericho Turnpike, on the little patch of grass. There was like a couple of fawns standing there. Now they're not finding their way back to the woods. I mean, these things are everywhere.
They do find their way back to. Yeah, we have them all over here. Will likes to wrestle deer, wild deer. Seriously,
I tried it one time.
He likes to, but he only did it one time, but he liked it.
When I was living in New Mexico, when I was living in New Mexico, we had deer that were coming to our property when we were the groundskeepers for the rodeo grounds. Deer would come to our property like every morning, every night, like clockwork. And so I decided, I'm gonna try and get one of these bitches by hand. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't like guns for particular reasons and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
No, to kill it and try and eat it. You know what I mean?
Pretty weird.
Like wrestle it
to see if I can do it. Because I can.
He wants to be like a Grizzly. Yeah. I don't know, Grizzly Adams.
Yeah. That was the idea. Man. That was the idea. Yeah,
I need a
Bambi Adams. He wanted to be a Bambi Adams.
I mean, yeah, Bambi. I've been informed by many of my friends that this is a really bad idea, and that I should.
You're lucky you didn't get Lyme disease.
But I did get rather close because I knew that I had to be upwind. Yeah, maybe I didn't even. I didn't even think about diseases and whatnot. But
they come right up to you here, right up.
I just thought about how manly I would feel if I could wrestle it down and break its neck.
They come up to you because you give them weed. My deer don't come.
How bad is this delay? Apparently, it's bad.
You're like 5 seconds.
It's not bad enough. We heard that story.
Yeah. Last summer, I was sitting outside smoking a joint.
Fucking hell.
He's like the guy at the comedy club, Geechee throwing the grenades out and they delayed laughter. That was Will on that joke. It was like
right.
A fawn came up and took a joint out of my hand. I just went like that to give him a little taste of it. He took it and ran away and ate the whole fucking thing. It was like
he's been back ever since with his kids and their kids.
I know a guy's got the good stuff.
He had like a little dealer.
Yeah. What is there any do you keep tabs on the Bert Kreischer interview thing? Because when I was putting this in YouTube, scheduling this show today, and put your name in it, all of a sudden a lot of Bert Kreischer tags came up. So suggest tags that are associated with Jackie Martling. Bert Kreischer. I was like, wow, his show must be taking off.
That's not due to anything I'm doing, right?
Well, I think YouTube algorithm or whatever vidIQ, which is in the back end of YouTube, goes out and searches the web for relevant terms to Jackie Martling, and I'm thinking that the Bert Kreischer interview must be doing like really big numbers, or people are searching on it because that's what it works off. It goes.
That was me.
Well,
that was me. I searched them yesterday.
To me, it was a
that's what
lot
came
of
up
views,
first.
but I guess for him it was penny change. I think it's like the last time I looked, it was like 119,000 views.
Wow,
That's a lot. That's a little.
That's a decent number. I mean, it's not
for me that's skyrocketing. But
yeah,
him,
no. I would be ecstatic with 119 views on one single episode. 119,000. I would be like, "Wow, I made it!" Now people won't be thinking that my guests are slumming by coming on the program. I that whatever. But no, I just assumed that it was doing really well. I just assumed this is really weird. We'll laugh in like 4 minutes after the joke.
I know. Hey, I want. Is anybody listening to you in Pottstown, Pennsylvania?
I believe we have Pennsylvania people on. Yes, actually, we had a comedian on from Pottstown just last week, right? Steph K is in Pottstown. Yeah.
Well, I'm at Soul Joel's. Have you heard of that place?
Yeah.
I'm at Soul Joel's in Pottstown on Saturday night, January 20th. With my old friend Rich Harkaway. I want to plug that. And February 3rd, I'm at El Portal in Hollywood screening my screening my documentary, which I'm very excited about. It's supposed to be a really like an actual hip joint. Like I don't know what I'm doing in Los Angeles, but the guy booked me and he's a sweetheart of a guy. So.
And is he filling the room with like celebs or it's just like regular people?
No, the celebs aren't going to come to see me. I don't think.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I mean, I would be thrilled if they did. But
what happened? We lost Wandering Willie, and he's popping back in. I think
he's trying to fix his delay.
Oh,
now at like 2 hours into the show, he's trying to fix his delay.
He's looking at his board like, what's going on? Oh, we lost him again. Did you just take yourself out?
I wonder what this button does.
I didn't mean to.
This button does.
I didn't know you were putting me in.
Oh, you want me to take you out?
No, I was trying to get rid of the leg. Did it work?
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked perfectly.
Did it work?
Yeah. No, it didn't work.
It's worse.
Welcome to the technically dysfunctional Coffee with the Dog
program. We're getting you
program.
from last week. We're getting you from what you said yesterday.
Yeah. Stand-up memories. Do you now Zinn is doing all your booking for stand-up memories, right? So do you putting in requests to him like go get us these guys, go get us this guy?
Me and Bales, and we just we've done everybody we know, so we keep trying to figure people out. We got a great Nicaraguan girl who was on. We're trying to figure out if her English was good enough to run it, but she's very beautiful and talented, and she's a pediatrician, and and she's beautiful. Yeah, so like I'm thinking, just run it. But we had Bartlett and Nelson, and I don't keep up. I don't even know what's aired yet, but supposedly people are enjoying it. I get weird emails from people I haven't heard from in years. Like, oh, I love your podcast. I'm like, wow, that's one.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, who's making the executive decisions about who to get? Because
if we can get them, we have them. I don't know why we haven't had you yet. You and Zinn got to work this out. I don't know what you're doing.
I don't think that's happening anytime in the near future, which means my lifetime.
Life is too short, man. God.
Well, my life is really short. Or what I have left anyway is really short.
Longer than expected, though. So
please, people say, "Oh, I'm in the back nine. I'm on the 18th green."
I am. I am definitely. I'm at the point where Tracy's dog is my hope for my business model is selling butt plugs. This is where I am in life.
Who is Tracy?
Tracy is the proprietor of Tracy's Dogs.
I don't know, but her dog is really interesting.
It's a girl? Is it a girl or a guy?
Yes. Yeah. No, it's a girl. She's
But
got
why
some
is dog
cowboy.
in the title? Why is dog in the title of a porn?
Because the dog didn't have a choice.
I don't know, but the dog in the logo looks like a penis. That's all I know.
Because
you can't say
she
Tracy's
started
penis,
selling
so.
sex toys because her dog ate all the ones she had.
Is that true? Did you read that on the website?
That's a good story.
These are just future chew toys.
Or are you just making that up?
No.
My ears are. Yeah. My head is killing me because I got the flu.
I think that's the first time Jackie said he liked one of my stories.
I don't know.
No,
oh no, he was lying to you.
I was lying.
Just trying to make you feel good. Anyway, yeah. So now, last thing I want to talk to you about because my head is killing me. It's pounding. I got the flu. Went out New Year's Eve, played my gig to a bunch of old people. My crowd overnight became 90 years old. My audience. But somebody there, maybe it's the guy who pissed the floor in front of me, gave me the flu. So I'm hurting here.
Did he know he was doing it? Was he so old?
No, Mikey knew he was doing it. He didn't tell me until yesterday. He goes, "Did you see the guy piss in front of you?" I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, "Yeah, he was trying to cut."
Age sucks so bad. I was with a friend of mine, and it was probably 10 years ago. We went to see. We were at a place where there was a band, and they were pretty good. And he's turned to me and said, "We got to get out of here, man. Everybody here is so old." And I said, "We're 10 years older than the oldest person in here. What are you talking about? You don't make the connection that you're out at the bar and it's all old. Why are these old people here?" It's like, that's because they're your peers. Well, you idiot.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary.
What you got something, Will, or are you still on delay?
Listen, the reason. Yeah, the reason really they want a younger crowd really is they want to be around women that are still making bad decisions.
Yeah. I had a woman come up to me New Year's Eve. I haven't seen her in 60 years. Last time I saw her, she was 7 years old. She comes up to me and goes, "Matt Napo." I was like, "Yes." She said, "Who am I?" Like, fuck if I know.
Because I can't remember.
She told me her name, Lisa Romeo. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, last time I saw you was 60 years ago and you were 7 years old. I promise you. It wasn't the face of
your next door neighbor or something like that?
Yeah, she used to live across the street from me. She moved away when they were 7. She was 7. I was 4 or 5.
Did you have the mustache?
Yeah.
Did you have the mustache back then, and that's how she recognized?
She recognized me.
Yeah, how similar did Matt look?
No, I don't think I was bald then. No, you've seen the pictures of me. I wasn't bald then. I had long hair then. Yeah. Even when I was 5, I had long hair.
Was it the mustache or the mole?
Yeah.
I used to fantasize. I used to look at my kindergarten picture, and there was a girl sitting next to me who was so cute with long, bright white blonde hair, Lizette Danielson. And she moved away before first grade. And I always wonder, is she still alive? Is she still beautiful? Is she gay? Is she married? Yeah. Because theoretically, it drives me crazy because theoretically, you could just dial a number and she's probably within distance of a phone and could answer it.
She probably lives down the block from you. Yeah.
Yeah, and you would never know it. That's crazy.
Right. Annette Donato, if you're out there listening, send me a photo of what you look like now to ruin my fantasy, because she was somebody I knew in first grade that I had a huge crush on. She was in kindergarten. I was in first grade. I haven't seen her since
I don't know how big a fan you were of the Stern Show, but there was a famous story. There still is a famous story. I had sex with a one-legged woman. Now, were you tuned into the Stern Show?
Yes, I remember this story.
But she was from Detroit, and her name is Debbie. Now, what pissed me off is all the millions of markets we were on in 55 different cities, but Detroit was one of the very last ones we got in like the year 2000. It was just before I left the show that we got on Detroit. And I was always hoping that somehow, that somebody would be listening to the Stern Show and say, how many girls named Debbie with one leg could there be in Detroit? I mean, she might have died the next year, but she might still be hobbling around. I always wanted to hire a private eye to find out who the hell she was. She was in a horrible car crash and lost a leg, but got zillions of dollars.
Wow.
And so, she came up and she hung out with my friends, and she was very pretty, but she just was missing a leg. But how do you find somebody like that? This is way, way before the days of the internet hadn't really happened like it was happening,
Well, speaking of one legs, it's time to say goodbye to Govs.
Yeah, they don't happen in your life every day. I know that.
Tony Walker's show is coming up. Speaking of one leg,
is he still talking to me? Is he still talking to me, or still not?
He doesn't talk bad about you. I haven't heard anything bad. Anyway,